Patricia Shaw, certified professional lifestyle coach. I help women who struggle to move forward in life and love, go from burned out and overwhelmed to living a liberated life, overflowing with confidence, beaming with clarity, grounded in a commitment to who they are. Today, the topic is cycles. That's what I want to talk with you about, the discussion of cycles. Relationship cycles. What is a cycle? How do I break the cycle? Some people call it they call it a curse. You know, the word speaks about generational curses, but sometimes we go through cycles. We repeat these behaviors. Amen. Thank you so much, Fran. Talking about cycles, and a lot of times as women, people of God, women of God, there are topics that we steer away from because we don't really want to discuss it. A lot of things as believers, we sweep under the rug instead of bringing it to the light. And so today I'm talking about cycles, relationship cycles, and how it affects the community and women, single women. Amen. So let's get started in our discussion. 8.6 million women, which is 63% of breadwinner moms, are single mothers, according to Pew Research Center analysis reported dated in 2011. The report goes on to state today's single mothers are much more likely to be never married than were single mothers in the past. So the share of never married mothers among all single mothers has increased from 4% in 1960 to 44% in 2011. How did we go from 4% of women being single mothers in 1960 to 44% in 2011? Cycles. What is a cycle? A cycle is a sense of events that are regularly repeated in the same order. This week, while working with a client who is a single mother desiring marriage, she shared a dream with me. And the dream is like this. Today, talking about cycles. In her dream, she said that a young man that she knows who is now deceased appeared in her dream. She was on a road over by some family members who are also deceased. She was driving down the road by their home. Now, as she was driving, there appeared out of nowhere one wolf. Now, as she continued driving down the road, not only was there one wolf, but there was two wolves and then three wolves. And by the time she got to where she was trying to go, there were 5 wolves on the road she was traveling down. And then she stated, as she began to cross over this road, one of the wolves barked at her. Now, you know, and I know, wolves do not bark. They howl. So as she continued sharing her dream with me, the spirit started giving me things to share with her. And one thing was the wolf. He comes in sheep's clothing. Wolves come to harm you. And especially if a wolf is out of character, and because that wolf barked and it did not howl, that meant that this wolf was out of character. So what did the wolf represent in the dream? The wolf represented the wrong type of person, the wrong type of person that she was connecting herself with, the wrong type of man. And God always sends us warnings before destruction. Now, as I stated, this woman is a single mother. She is desiring marriage. And just like God knows the desires of our heart, sometimes the enemy all the time. He sends a counterfeit disguised in everything that you want it to look like. A disguise. And I like to say a clown. Satan sends a clown, but God will send a clone of himself. So in this dream that my client had, that wolf represented the wrong image, the person that was not right for her. God sends a clone of himself. The enemy sends a clown. And the reason I say a clown is because clowns take off their mask when the party is over. So yes, he may start and come as everything you want him and desire him to be. But then when it's all said and done, he ends up being nothing that you need. So now we're talking about cycles. How, Patricia, did we as a people, as a culture, as a community of women go from 4% of single mothers to in what year did I say, in 1960 to 44% in 2011? I like to say, so you got the ding ding, but you didn't get the ring ring. Yes, you got the ding ding, but you didn't get the ring ring. Cycles. We have to begin to break these cycles. So, how do I break free of a cycle that I may be in? How do I break free of a cycle of meeting the same or the wrong type of man? How do I break free from meeting these men who want to get to know my body parts before they get to know my heart? How do I break this cycle of dead end relationships? I get in a relationship, I get to know the person, and then we start hanging out. I catch feelings, and then in less than 30 days, he turns out to be the wrong type of person. How do I break this cycle? You see my shirt? It says position for purpose. I know what it feels like to be a single woman, not a single mother, but a single woman desiring marriage, to be in an ungodly relationship, giving your all to somebody who's giving you nothing in return. So how was I able to break the cycle of the dead end relationships? By getting in position for purpose. That's how we break these statistics. That's how we break the statistics. I'm talking to the women who want to stand up and say, I'm breaking this cycle. I will no longer, I refuse to keep going around the same cycle over and over again. I am going to stand up. I'm going to set some standards. I am going to be and have what God said I can have. And the only way we can have what God says we can have is if we follow his word. Position for purpose. I wrote this book, and I'm so glad that I will finally be able to release it on April the 28th. And Position for Purpose is a movement. I'm speaking to women of all ages because I work with women who are really over 40 and they are struggling. And when I say struggling, repeating cycles that don't have to be repeated. When you know who you are and whose you are, you will be able to set a standard, and baby, nobody will be able to move you off of your block. Just this week, I shared something on social media about setting a standard, and a woman, she inboxed me and said, thank you for that message, because I was seeing this man and he told me my standards were too high for him. Can you imagine that? And I said, I'm so glad that he told you that before you got too deep in the relationship. If a man can look you straight in the eye and tell you that your standards are too high for him, he's not the one for you. A man that knows you are worth it will work for you. He will work to gain your trust. He will work to gain your loyalty, your love. He won't come knocking at the door only when it's time for you to be intimate. This book, Position for Purpose, so that young women of all ages, can get in position to receive the love that they desire and deserve. I know this message is not popular. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to be purposeful. We went in 1960 from 4% of women, single women having children, to 44% in 2011. Here we are in 2018, and the statistics are even higher. I have a leadership academy, and I work with young women from the ages of 18 to 29. So I know these statistics are truthful. They are realistic. We have to begin to do something. We have to begin to make this information known. You do not have to continue to go in a cycle, in a circle, round and round. You can get positioned for purpose, because marriage has a purpose. Relationships have purpose. I wish that 1 million women could hear this message about cycles, repeating cycles, being connected with the wrong person. Do you all see what is going on in the news today? All these little children being murdered by women's boyfriends. Cycles, because they don't know who they are. When you don't know who you are, you will connect with somebody else who doesn't know who you are. Cycle. Let's get positioned for purpose. In this book, Position for Purpose When Boaz Calls, in this book, I talk about 4 really deep topics. The war room. I talk about the waiting room. I talk about the classroom of life and what goes on in the classroom of life, and the wedding chambers, why it's so important that you understand the purpose of marriage, why it's so important. Cycles. Let's break this cycle. 4% in 1960 to 44% in 2011. Cycles. 8.6 million women, 63% of breadwinner moms are single mothers. It's time to get positioned for purpose. It's time for us to get positioned for purpose. To take as I go and travel around the country talking about cycles, how we can break the cycle when we get positioned for purpose. When you truly understand that you are worth everything that you're asking God for, you will get positioned for purpose. I'm Patricia Shaw, certified professional lifestyle coach. I help women who struggle to move forward in life and love, go from burned out and overwhelmed to living a liberated life, overflowing with confidence, beaming with clarity, grounded in a commitment to who they are.